So today's the Feast of Our Lady of Sorrows. It's an interesting phenomenon whenever we go to funerals, at least here in Ireland. There's obviously great tragedy and great sorrow, when the COVID aside, when the mourners would be lined up normally on this, so the left-hand side of the church, and the remains there in the middle. And the mourners come in and they offer their condolences to everybody sitting there, to the family members, and everyone is wearing black. There's a solemnity, a sadness about it, which is fitting. You know what I mean? It's not a bad thing. The family, especially, and friends and neighbours, miss the person who has passed away. This is natural and it's normal, and it's good for us to actually be able to recognise that and to externalise it. Even crying together and that it's a natural grieving process, which I think in Ireland we do very well. I think it's a great healing for people to be able to come together as a community and recognise who this person was and their contribution to their lives, and celebrate their life as such. Another aspect of it, well, there are two other aspects as well, is that at times, especially in the house beforehand, stories will be told about the person who has passed away. Maybe even funny stories. Remember at the time the car broke down on the motorway? Why? Yeah, because he was reversing for 2 kilometres because he missed his exit and he blew the engine, and all the stories are told, and I remember when he was back in the dancing days, and there was this one girl who liked him, and so on, and all the stories are told. And there can be funny stories as well. So, like the memory of the person isn't just the last year, or the last 6 months, or the last week of the person's life. We don't just celebrate. We're not just remembering, as I say, just the death of the person, but we're celebrating their whole life. Everything comes together. The last aspect of it is there's always a particular focus or a particular pain, dare I say, if it's a young person that has passed away, when you see the person's mom, or if it's a man who has passed away, when you meet his wife, the widow, there's always something profound here. There's a great respect for the sorrow of a mother, or the sorrow of a wife. And it's well earned. I mean, there's the mom especially has such a profound relationship with her son, the wife with her husband, that it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. Fathers are fantastic, husbands are wonderful, but for some reason there is something particular about the love of a mother or a wife for their deceased family member, whoever it may be. And there's always a kind of, as I say, you always approach the wife or the mother with such kind of reverence, such kind of care, because there's such a profound link between the two. So today, the Feast of Our Lady of Sorrows. This is my own chasuble, my own vestment. So I had this one made when I was ordained centuries ago, and this is the image I chose for it. So it's the 13th station, Jesus taken down from the cross and laid in the arms of his mother. And this is Our Lady of Sorrows. She's holding her son who has passed away. And that deserves such reverence, such respect, because what's going on here, words can never explain, words can never describe. We heard it here in our gospel as well, when Jesus, in his last breaths, in his last sentences, entrusts John, who represents the church, to Our Lady, and vice versa. Seeing his mother and the disciple he loved standing near her, Jesus said to his mother, "Woman, this is your son." So, as again, St. John represents the whole church. So, woman, when he says woman, that's not a disregarding term at all. It goes the whole way back to Eve, the whole way back to the mother of all of humanity. Now that same word is used here. There's something much bigger going on here, because something profound has just been consummated. The Lord has now paid for the sin of all mankind for all time. This was planned. This was willed by God, even though they knew it would end. Jesus himself foretold this event. He knew it would happen, but this was, in God's divine wisdom, the best way to as such pay for the sin of mankind was by offering himself as a sacrifice of love. So that sin that began there with Adam and Eve, you now have Adam and Eve who lead the world into sin, and now we have the new Adam and the new Eve making it all good, repairing the disobedience, repairing the sin of their ancient forefathers. Jesus, who makes good the sin of Adam on the cross by his death, Our Lady at the foot of the cross, uniting her heart to his and uniting her suffering to his for the redemption of mankind. So something profound is happening here, hence the term woman. Then he says to the disciple, "This is your mother." So to all of mankind, to the church, recognize that Our Lady is your mother, not just a biblical character, not just like another saint. That wouldn't be the worst thing, but she is so much more than just another saint that we can pray to. She is the mother of all mankind, and while that's a nice term, mother of all mankind is a bit broad, or, mother of all creation, mother of the universe. That's nice. But my mother, that's what we need to, I think, focus on today. Like Our Lady as mother of the church, okay, that's okay, that's nice, but like mother of the church I don't think it evokes any kind of emotion in us at all. It's a bit broad. Whereas Our Lady is my mom, which means when I see these statues and, grottos or roundabouts up in Belfast or, turn-offs, you see little grottos in different villages around the place. That's my mom. That's my mom. That's her. And to have that profound respect for what's happening and what she did and what she continues to do. "This is your mother," says Jesus. And from that moment, the disciple made a place for her in his home. So the disciple John, again representing the church, from that moment then, John and the church makes a place for her, not just in the world, out there somewhere, but makes a place for her in his home. He builds on a granny flat, like he makes a place for her in his home. This is, again, what the church has done and should continue to do, to make a place for Our Lady in the heart of the church. Because when we see in the Sorrowful Mother, like we were saying yesterday, the heart of the Sorrowful Mother doesn't detract or doesn't take from Jesus' sacrifice. If anything, it points to it. It brings us to it. It draws us to it. You don't stay stuck on Our Lady's suffering. But it's, why is she suffering so much? Because she was so united to Jesus. Why was she so united to Jesus? Well, because she had no sin to separate her from God. So the unity they had was profound. And who was this Jesus character anyway? He was God and man who came to die for us. So, like, Our Lady draws us to Jesus. There's no threat in having a devotion to Our Lady at all. There is no danger in bringing Our Lady into our home, into our heart, and recognizing her as our personal mother. And so we ask our Blessed Lady today. Maybe we ask, what we do, we'll ask Saint Joseph. We'll ask Saint Joseph, who had profound reverence for Our Lady throughout her life. We don't know at what point exactly he died. He wasn't there for this event. But we ask Saint Joseph to teach us to welcome Our Lady into our home, to welcome Our Lady into the place where we are, into our hearts, the place where we live, our internal life. We ask our good Lord to help us to see her as he saw her, as our mom, as his mom. Amen.